Okay, so we have a good one today, and that is how to manage your money the right way. Because if you're like 64% of Americans out there, you might be living paycheck to paycheck. Or maybe you think, hey, I'm living paycheck to paycheck because I just don't make a lot of money. Maybe you're part of the other 48% of Americans who are making over $100,000 a year and still living paycheck to paycheck. But regardless of your situation, what I want to do is kind of walk through how to manage your money the right way, or how to budget your money so that you can begin saving money, paying off those debts, investing, and creating financial freedom for yourself. Because if you're watching this video, more than likely that is a goal of yours. This is the same strategies that I use to help me go from having $400 paycheck to paycheck, broke as all get out, to saving over $100,000 in just over 4 years, investing and creating financial freedom for myself. Now, be sure to stay to the end of this video because I do have a really interesting thing on how much you should be saving and how quickly you can retire based on your savings rate. It's pretty awesome, so be sure to stay to the end. Most people are not saving money, and in fact, the average savings rate this past year was 4.4%. But a lot has changed over the last couple years. Inflation is out the roof, and in fact, it's at 9.1%. Meaning that the average cost of goods is 9.1% higher than they were last year. And the only way we're going to combat this is having an even stronger game plan to help us save money, pay off those debts, and invest for the future. And we're going to follow what we call the 50-30-20 rule. So the 50-30-20 rule states that 50% of your income should be going towards your needs, 30% of your income should be going towards wants, and then 20% of your income should be going towards savings. So let's start with the first category, which is needs, and this should be 50% of your overall income. Now, the absolute biggest expense when it comes to your needs is going to be your housing. Now, as a general rule of thumb, your housing should not exceed any more than 33% of your overall take-home pay, and that's what the experts will tell you. However, if you really want to crank it in, you really shouldn't be spending any more than 20 to 25% of your take-home pay on your rent. So that would be equivalent to about 1 week's worth of income. So if your housing does exceed that 20 to 25%, or especially if it exceeds that 33%, for those of you who live in cities like LA or Chicago, Seattle, San Francisco, New York, Miami, here's a few things to keep in mind. If we're over that budget already, we absolutely need to be looking at how to either downsize or lifestyle. This could mean getting a smaller apartment or a smaller house. It could mean moving into a different area of the city. Perhaps it means getting an extra roommate, renting out a room. This could also mean living with your parents if you have that option. Hey, I didn't say it was going to be fun or easy, but this is just what it takes sometimes. When I first started, I actually slept on a couch for my first year, which then turned into moving into a 1-bedroom apartment with 3 other guys sleeping in bunk beds to help me exponentiate my savings rate. The next major expense in your needs category is going to be your food, and this should be anywhere between 10 to 15% of your overall income. So that means if you're making $50,000 a year, you should be spending no more than $5,000 to $7,500 on food. My suggestion is go ahead and go through your bank statements and add up everything you spend on groceries and get a monthly average. If you find that you're exceeding that 10 to 15%, there's a few things you can do. The absolute first thing I would do is figure out what that 10 to 15% is and break it down per day. Let's say you decide you want to live on $10 a day for food. I would then break it down on cost for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, back in the day, I lived on $5 a day. I did $1 for breakfast, $1 to $2 for lunch, and then $2 to $3 for dinner. So what I do is I created an Excel sheet and had all the items I'd buy on a grocery list and the costs of the item and how many servings that I got. And then from there, I'd figure out what the cheapest items were, and I would plug and play meal strategies to help me fit my budgets. I found that a couple slices of toast and a few eggs were under $1. Things like oatmeal were under $1. And then for lunch, I'd do things like protein shakes, or I'd buy frozen chicken breast, mix some rice and some frozen veggies with it for under $2, so on and so forth. The next essential need is going to be your transportation, and this should be no more than 15% of your overall annual take-home pay. Now, keep in mind, this includes all transportation-related expenses. So not only is it your car payment, but your gas, your insurance, and things like that. And for all of you overachievers out there, if you could do 10%, that's even better. Utilities are also a need, and this should be somewhere around that 3% range. You also have things like insurance. You want to try to keep this around 5% of your overall income. Now, the next major category on our list is wants, and this should be no more than 30% of our overall take-home income. Now, wants are all about those lifestyle choices. So these would be things like eating out, traveling, going to the movies, going to concerts. It's going to be things like Netflix, Hulu, HBO. It's even going to be things like gym membership or cell phone bills. The next category on our list is the savings, debt, payoff, and investing category, and this should be 20% of your overall income. As a general rule of thumb, if you have any high interest debts that are a minimum of 5 to 6% or more interest rates, you want to automatically be putting all your money towards some debt payoff. Now, once you have the high interest debts paid off, you want to start building up what's called a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. This is going to be protection for you in case you happen to lose your job, you have a major expense like a car breakdown, refrigerator breakdown, or something like that. Once you have those two categories knocked out of the way, everything else needs to be going towards your investing. Now, in this video, I'm not going to tell you exactly what to be investing in, but I do have some videos that will walk you through how to go from broke to financial freedom, where I do walk you step by step through this process of debt payoffs, emergency funds, and some great investments to be making. So be sure to check out that video. I'm gonna leave a link below in the description box. Now, as much as I love the 50-30-20 rule, there's a few things I don't like about it. Even though saving 20% is a great start, the problem with that is if you're only saving 20% of your income, it will take you almost 37 years in order to retire, assuming that 20% is growing at a 5% rate of return. I don't know about you, but I don't wanna be working for the next 40 years. I wanna retire a lot faster than that. So let's talk about how you can make some adjustments so that you're retired as quickly as 20 years or even as quickly as 10 to 12 years. So one of the first adjustments or tweaks that you can make is what's called the 50-10-40 rule. 50% of your income should go towards your needs, 10% goes towards your wants, and then 40% goes towards savings and investing. Now, if you manage to follow this formula and you're getting an average of a 5% annual rate of return on your investments, you can retire in just under 22 years. Now, perhaps you want to retire even quicker than that and you want to say, hey, I want to be retired in the next 10 years. Well, if you were to save 60% of your overall income and get a 5% annual rate of return, you could literally retire in just 12 years. So it's important to understand that even though having a high rate of return on investments is really important, your savings rate is even more important. Now, as awesome as the 50-30-20 rule is, you wanna make sure you check out my other video, which is how to save $9,000 really fast. This is gonna be all kinds of like Jedi mind tricks on how to begin saving money. So whether you actually make a lot of money and you just need to start working on how to cut back, or perhaps you don't make very much money and not only do you need to cut back, but you also gotta learn how to magnify your income, this is gonna be a really great video to watch. So be sure to check out that how to save $9,000 fast video. If this video gave you some value, please be sure to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, the little notification bell for more videos on saving money, entrepreneurship, investing, creating financial freedom. Let's get out there and let's build that dream.